Gentlemen, the 2025 draft has wrapped up now. 7 picks by the Utah Mammoth. What's the themes or general takeaways from this second day of the draft?
Adding depth. I think every year we try and do the same thing. There's always lots of players around the world that you can add. There's only 32 in the first round, so now you get a chance to keep adding talent to your roster.
Was there any? Oh,
No, go ahead.
no, you go. If you had something to say,
I was just going to echo those comments and just say, you know what, we're stacking players, and I think this year we did try and maybe take a few more swings, and all throughout the draft, we still are looking for hitting some gems in these areas of the day.
Is there one particular player that either of you are excited, especially about getting?
I think you're always excited about everybody because they've obviously piqued your interest at some point, and we're every year it's we can't believe that guy is there in the 6th round. You can't believe that guy is there in the 3rd round. I think when we look at our first 3 picks, that really gives us a real good head start on the draft this year, especially with Caleb, and then followed up with Max, which we were just thrilled to get, and then Stepan, we knew we'd have a chance at him, but for him to be there was awesome, and then it just kind of set our day off in motion.
Mentioned Max, 6'5", right shot defenseman. A lot of us thought of Michael Kessering, with those stats. Was that a cognizant, decision on your part, knowing that he's out of the system, bringing someone of the same profile in?
I don't think so. We don't think that far ahead, for one thing. We, like what Ryan said, we're always kind of stacking players. We loved his size. We liked his right-hand defenseman. We liked that he's an athlete. I think that's what we were always kind of hunting for. So as far as, he's a lot younger than Kesselring, so we don't think that far ahead, really.
So what was the thought process for going for that 6th round pick from Nashville?
There's always players that you like, and with Bill Armstrong being in this chair before, he understands that there's a player that the scouts really want as the draft is going on. And maybe they're not slipping to you, but you always have a passion for a player. And we've done it in the past where we've traded a 7th rounder next year for a 7th rounder this year, and Bill thought, just with the couple of the players that we had on the board, let's go get the 6th rounder this year and make sure we get the guy that we wanted.
What was it about Caleb Denoyer that made him stand out as the player at number 4?
There's a lot of things. One thing, he's his personality, his character, his ability. We've done. My son played with him a couple years ago, so we knew him really well. Kevin Thacker watched him a lot of games. I was in the area. I watched him a lot of games. Ryan's seen him a lot, and you just fall in love with what he can be. And then when you add the character and the size and the potential, that's what I think scouts get all excited about.
6 of those 7 picks are from Europe or from international markets here. How do you guys scout that? Can you go through a little bit of the process of making sure that you are seeing them as much as you would someone, say, in North America or in college hockey?
Well, I would say we have equal representation really everywhere around the world. So if we have 2 scouts in Ontario, we have 4 scouts in Europe. We've got 3 scouts in the United States, 2 scouts in Western Canada. So our European scouts are just as critical to the process as the North American scouts are, and they're balanced. We've got a scout in Finland, a scout in Sweden, a scout in Central Europe, and a scout in Czech and Slovakia who also scouts Russia for us. So they know those players. And, Darryl and I might not see them as much, but we do see them at times throughout the year, especially the higher end players, the players in the top 2 or 3 rounds. So a player like Max Psanichka, he tickled a couple of different areas because he actually started the year in the Czech Republic and then came back and finished his year in Portland. So when our scout in the Czech Republic and our scouts in the West both liked him, now it actually creates a little bit more excitement around the staff when you pick that player.
And I don't think you go into a draft thinking we're going to take players from a certain area or position or anything like that. I think it just kind of morphs into something. Like, there's other players that we like and they're gone, so this is the next best player on our list. We spend months on this list, and we always think we get the best player.
You get a goaltender with Ivan. What's different or unique about drafting that position, and what do you think he adds to that pool?
Goalies are hard, and Clay Adams does an unbelievable job with scouting the goalies across the world for us, similar to what we do with the players. But each area also has input into the goaltenders as well. Goaltenders are tricky because it takes them a long time, a lot longer than the normal player, and they also go very fast on the board in draft day. And we've seen in the past a run of goaltenders, as we saw a little bit at the start of the second round this year. Ivan, we just saw in Florida last week at a camp put on by his agency. He's very raw, but he has a lot of athleticism. He's got a lot of passion. He's a great young man. And it's just going to take some time for him to develop, but we feel he has the right mentality, the right mindset, the right attributes to develop into a goalie potentially down the road for us.
Both this year and in previous years, you've tended to take a lot of big guys. Is that not by accident, I assume?
I don't think it is. I mean, we want to have size in our lineup, but we always try and take the best player available. We always make sure he has talent. We always make sure he can skate. We always make sure that he has the ability to get bigger and stronger and a place to develop. And again, we were after players all draft that weren't that big, and they went before us, and these guys were the next best player on the board for us.
When it comes to the decentralized draft, having everyone in one room together, and it's a little bit quieter than on a draft floor. What was that experience like to really be able to collaborate, especially in those moments when a player you might have wanted is off the board, right?
It's good and bad. I think the good of it is that you're in that room. You can talk freely with each other. You can hear each other. You can have everybody in the room where you're limited to so many people on the draft floor. The bad part about it is that you're not with the rest of the league. And that's the exciting part of the draft. It always has been. When you're in the arena, when you're around the city, you can feel the buzz, which has always been awesome as a scout because you don't feel that throughout the year. We're not at many NHL games or very rarely with the team. But there was benefits to certainly being in that room and you have some fun too. You can have some laughs and joke around a little bit, so it brings up the camaraderie and actually makes the decision making maybe a little bit easier because you can ask those questions, but you do miss the excitement of being at the draft.
So Logan Cooley's cousin, LJ Mooney, was in the draft. Did you guys have any discussions about him, and was he on your board, I guess?
We actually had him in our camp not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, and brought him in, and he was great. And he was a guy we were interested in, and we talked to Logan that if it was all right if we drafted him. He was going to be part of draft day for us.
Going back to the previous question, so meeting apart from everybody else, did all of the teams simply have a roster of like a key contact at all of the other tables? And
yeah, there was basically a list of phone numbers for everybody's war room. However, cell phones. Bill is going to call the other GM's cell phone. Our phone didn't ring once. Bill's rang a lot.
Ryan, you touched on it, but Bill has been in this position before. He has an extensive background in scouting. How does that make him a more efficient or a better leader in these situations, as he is the GM, but he really understands all different parts of this process?
Absolutely. Bill, Ryan, and I have known each other for probably 20 years, so the nice part for us to work with Bill is that he understands what all scouts go through. And he understands the process. He understands what we're thinking, and he understands the language, and he cares, and he listens, and he tries to make sure that the scouts are taken care of, and that he does what we ask.
I know it's about the picks, but it's a body of work for you guys. What does it feel like when the draft is over? And I know Dev Camp is coming up, but do you get any break? Just what's the feeling seeing all your work come to fruition?
It's very exciting when you look down at the list of players and see the 7 young men that you drafted. It's exciting because our staff works so hard and we work so close together to get this list in shape. And it's not about satisfying the areas and the scouts, but it's just making sure that we work as a team, right? So there's definitely a satisfying component to that. There's an exhale. It's a good feeling right now that it's over. It's it's a long process, and I think it even felt a little bit longer this year with the jump from 14 to 4 and the time that we had to put into that number 4 pick. It was intense. We spent a lot of time on it. So you're excited, but it's kind of feels good that it's over, and take a little bit of a break now. We'll be at development camp to watch the players and welcome them a little bit and handle the transition to development. We'll talk with them about kind of what each player is, and then we get a little bit of a break, and we got to recharge the batteries for when September hits.
I also think this is our 5th draft together as a group, and I think the nice part about have like this draft is the guys know the group's getting better, the talent's getting better, and we get a chance to stack more players onto the big group. So I think that's the exciting part about this draft. And who knows how many picks we'll have next year, but that's kind of the way scouts think. We always get a chance to add into the group.
And random, but we heard at the combine a player came in and took a cookie immediately, which you guys thought was funny. Did that player end up being a Mammoth today, or?
He did not, but he did get drafted yesterday. It's Jackson Smith.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's a great kid. Jackson's a great young man. He actually went to school with my daughter in Calgary, so I knew him a little bit. But you want to have some fun with the players. It's long days for us. It's long days for the players at the combine. So when you can have a little bit of fun and joke around a little bit, it also makes the day go a bit easier, and the an excitement for the players too.
What was it about that was so out
Well,
of the ordinary?
yeah, I mean, we had cookies on the table, and Darryl was mad because he ate too many. Bill was mad because he ate too many, and they're like, "Get rid of these cookies." We're like, "Jackson, nobody wants the cookies. Grab one." And he's like, "Sure, I'll grab one." And actually, he took one bite, he put it down, and then he answered the questions, but he did take it when he left. So
It was chocolate chip.
Quick. Yesterday, Bill mentioned that Caleb came out and they had like the little secret pizza party in the backyard or whatever it was. Were there any other players that were brought in as well, or was that it?
no, not for that. In the last couple of weeks, he was the only one that was brought in.